Hello, welcome to Neta Talk. My name is Marcos Castillo. Let me talk to you a little bit about my first story. Okay, so initially, this first story was going to be small business. We are not your enemy. I just want to go to your place of business and I want to give you my green money so they can give me your services. Okay, so maybe we'll have that conversation later, but this one right here is going to be about Mr. Devon Hamilton of Rochester, New York, and his newfound friend, Mr. Victor Burgos, 34. I'm going to let him kind of explain it to you, but kind of what happened. But it went viral. It seeped down into the disability community, and the conversations got heated. And that's fine. I love conversation. At least when you're arguing, you're sort of talking, right? I've done what these gentlemen did. Basically, he saw that it wasn't accessible. He called the place of business. Victor picked up, and he immediately went outside. The gentleman in the chair asked if he could cut his hair outside. He said, "Oh yeah, I got this." And he went inside, and he has a background in mobile hair cutting because his first job out of barber school was going to nursing homes and doing like a mobile barber shop. But he did it. It got done, and everybody went about their way. What happened was somebody took a picture, and they later on gave that picture to the owner of the barber shop, and the owner was proud of his employee, so he posted it online. Inside Edition, that's right. They did a story about it, and they put it out there. So it went viral. I have done this or some semblance of this plenty of times in my 17 years post-injury. I've shown up to taco spots, I've shown up to restaurants, and I got carried into a nightclub one time, up 2 flights of stairs, without my wheelchair. Okay, there's no way to get in, and at that moment, I'm hungry, and or I'm on a date or whatever, right? And they'll bring me a table outside, hook me up outside, dining al fresco, right? I can see where there would be an issue. I make it a point to talk to a manager or somebody and just let them know, like, I really enjoyed your food, but accessibility is an issue for me, and I can't, in good conscience, keep coming back to an establishment that I feel doesn't really want me here. Imagine this. My family, let's say we're all tall and skinny. We're not. But let's say we were, right? So I'm like, you know what? I can save on wood, material, everything if I make the doors slimmer, right? But then the only people that would be able to come into my establishment are tall, skinny people, or short, skinny people, I guess, too. But if you're anything wider than 32 inches, you can't come here. And it's not because I don't want you here, but because people that are wider than 32 inches never come into my establishment. Well, then doesn't that kind of cut your end short? Because if somebody else with the green money wants to come, then they can't, because or you could set them up a table outside, right? That's kind of how it feels. That's not what this story is about. I'm not here to shit on anyone. This isn't a situation where I'm gonna rail against the business owners or anything like that. This is a band-aid. What do they call it? A quick solution to like a long-term problem. From my point of view, the building could be accessible. I shouldn't have to keep making these concessions for places that could become easily accessible. So I want to give you a little. Well, you know what? No, I'm going to show you the interview. I'm not going to show the full interview because it ran about 15 minutes long, but I do want to show the parts of the interview. I will actually put up the complete interview afterward, but here it is. enjoy.
Walk me through what happened that day. Like, you know, what the whole process was.
Well, I saw Devon outside through the corner of my eye, but wasn't quite sure, if he was trying to get into our business or what was going on, if he was lost. So I went ahead and just continued on, and then the phone rang, and it was, and right away I knew it was him. So I just stopped what I was doing, hung up the phone, and ran outside. Once I got outside, I realized that his chair was, heavy duty to try to carry him in. So, there is no way to access, unfortunately. So, I asked him if it was cool, and he even said it was cool. He said, doing it outside will be less of a mess. The hair will just blow away. So, right then and there, I was like, all right, he's cool. He's got a sense of humor, and this is gonna be fun. So, I'm used to doing all types of people, so I was excited. I was more nervous as to maybe how he was gonna react or feel, because I had never met him before. So, but he was cool. So I said, "Is it all right if we do it out front? I don't want to do it on the side. I don't want to do it in the back. Feel like this is like a burden. I want to showcase, and make you feel proud and feel, special. That I'm one of the busiest barbers here, and when people in this town see I'm cutting his hair, it's a pretty cool thing, But yeah, so after that it was just normal haircut.
Yeah. So you were saying that you used to do like mobile barbering, and you used to do barber haircuts at home and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit more about like the background of that?
Yeah, I started cutting hair for my friends and family pretty much anywhere. Anywhere we wouldn't make a mess. So, kitchens, bathrooms, easy to sweep up, garages. But here at work in this establishment, I never did anything outside like that. Never had a reason to, but definitely in that situation, jumped right to the opportunity to do it. But my first actual barber job right out of barber school was a mobile hair service for senior homes. And it didn't pay a lot, but man, when I left every day, you just feel good,
Yeah,
you just vibe off.
Like accomplished, right?
Everyone that gets a haircut, they feel good. You feel good. That's why I do it.
So we were talking about your family and like the background, kind of like the cultural makeup of your family. Can you kind of tell me, your background, your wife's background, a little bit about that, how your family life actually is, and how growing up, like for you would be a Hispanic Latino community, how that kind of how that foundation helped you be more compassionate, and how to actually learn how to adapt.
Oh yeah, definitely. My family is Puerto Rican, 100%. They were all born there, and then myself, my generation, and the ones after, we were all born here. We were raised, to be just respectful to family. That family's so important, and and to just treat everybody good, not just family, but your friends, your neighbors. Treat them how you would want to be treated. They played a huge part in me. They really pushed me to become a barber. They saw that I was good at it. I had a lot of compassion for it, that I care, and all that. When you see somebody in need, it could have been someone hurt outside, having nothing to do with a haircut, and I would have. I have to help. I have to help.
Yeah, I see a lot in our Hispanic community that that we're very compassionate people. Sometimes overly compassionate, right? Like
Okay.
you want to coddle and you want to like bring people in. But the way that we treat our elderly and our sick, we're very. We have a good foundation. We just need to build off of that, and it's a strength, right? So I like your family unit. You were saying that that your old lady is half Italian, part Native American. You're Puerto Rican. Like your kids are the American dream, right? Like so like the values that you're gonna instill in them are gonna keep moving on, and I hope part of that also is disabilities, right? Like that, you know, we're all equal and we just have challenges. You were talking about how a couple years ago you tore your ACL and you were thankful for curb cuts, right? Which before that you had never thought about it. It was never an issue for you, and now you think, okay, so I mean, it's a learning process, right? We all learn from each other as long as we keep an open mind.
Definitely. Well, one thing my mom told me a long time ago, and I think it was quoted on the Marvel cartoon X-Men, but it was, you know, never be afraid of what you don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that sits with me to this day. So if I don't understand something, I don't get afraid or defensive. I just try to just listen, observe, be patient. You know, just try to, you know, put yourself in the shoes and, you know, and keep open mind and, you know.
With everything that's happened, what would you like to see come out of this? Because I mean, I know you've gotten a lot of coverage and there's been a lot of conversations, and I think it's a good conversation for us to have. But have you like how would you like this story to wrap up?
We're not going to stop pushing the owner, who will then push the landlord, who will hopefully work with the village and some sort of contractor to make it happen. We believe we do have some room, but we're not professionals. But if we could get a ramp so we can get Devon and everyone that, you know, is in a chair or crutches and could, you know, benefit from a ramp, kids with or moms with strollers, like you were saying, anyone on wheels, you know, that just needs a slower angle or you know, slower slope so they can get in easy.
You saw a need in the community, and now through conversation there's actually change in the future. So you know, that's you know, that's what it's all about, like, you know, keeping that open dialogue and open mind. Have you gotten any, you know, negative feedback or things like that? You said for the most part your community has been really supportive.
Everyone locally has been supportive. Anything negative has just been online, you know, different comment sections and stuff like that. But that's gonna happen. You know, they're not here. They're not. You know. They don't know what's actually going on, because you guys,
you know, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. We're a much newer town than you guys are. You're a much older town. You know, you guys have different things that that you guys have to deal with, right? Cold, snow, things that we don't really deal with as much over here.
Every season we get.
And like you said, right now it might it was a nice day outside, but give it 3 months later, you're not going to be able to cut his hair outside, all right? But you were saying, like, I'm willing to go to his house and things like that, but I'm sure that, you know, Devon would like to be able to get out of his house, go get a nice haircut, be in public, and you know, those barbershop conversations are the best conversations in the world. You guys are like our psychologists, right? We go get trimmed up, get faded up, and go home feeling like champions, because after you get a good haircut, you feel like you could take on the world. It's like our armor, right?
Only positive that I want to come out from this, inspiration, you know, of course, you know, hopefully anyone gets inspired, that's always good. We get a ramp, that'd be awesome. And then the other thing is, you know, that we consider like some sort of mobile option, mobile service. Whether or not we get a ramp or not, I think we should, you know, not be locked down to this shop. If someone if Devin is sick, if he's in if someone's in the hospital, you know, if they can't get here, I'd love for that to be something else that comes out of it too. So,
I think those are very good, lofty goals for you guys to have. I like that the catalyst was somebody who was trying to be independent. We adapt, right? We understand that it's only been so many years since we've been trying really to be an independent group. The world is going to move along with us, but it's going to take a lot of little battles. But I definitely believe that as long as we have good people like you going out there and you know, doing what's right, like, you know, thinking about, like, is my mom gonna see me doing this, and is she gonna be proud, or is she gonna be ashamed, right? Because that's something that we worry about in our community. Like, what's my mom gonna think, right? Like, she didn't raise me like this, right? So you know, all those values and everything, if we can keep carrying them on, that would be great. And I tell you this, from a perspective of a person in a wheelchair, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate what your community's doing as far as trying to keep the conversation open. And and I hope one day I can go down there and you can shave me up a little bit.
Man, I'll hook you up.
Yeah,
I'll hook you up.
You got me.
Yeah, no, I can see the struggle is real.
Yeah, the struggle is real. I like to say the struggle is real. Yeah. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna cut the recording right now. I'm gonna talk to you for a little bit, and then I'm gonna let you get back to work. All right. I appreciate letting us do this interview.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Okay, people. So let's talk about what happened here. Okay, this is what I saw. I saw a gentleman with a disability who wanted to go somewhere and get some services. The business was inaccessible, and there was a very compassionate, very skilled, and very forthcoming barber who stepped out of his way and out of his comfort zone in order to accommodate this person. Now, is it a reasonable accommodation? I don't see it as that. But they are having the conversation. There's a dialogue going on, and they see, and when I say they, I mean the barber, the business owner, and the landlord are in a conversation where, are we going to make this place accessible? And the fact that something like this happened means that we can have the conversation about, is my place accessible? Am I being accommodating? You know, they're good conversations to have. We just need to be open-minded, have open dialogue about it, be understanding and compassionate. So, this is our first video. I'm sorry about the background and everything. We're caught up doing crazy things this weekend. Appreciate you guys' time. Sorry about the length. I'll work on it. But let's keep the conversation going, all right? Good things happening, good people talking. You know, little battles, okay? Neta talk.